Welcome to the Prospect Warehouse podcast. This is your host, Tim Kanak. You can find me on X at Fantasy Aceball. And with us, we have the Hefe, John, at John PGH. Jon Anderson, what up?
The Hefe, like a cow?
No, not the Heifer, the Hefe. You have to remember
Is
that
that
I got a
Spanish
little
word?
Miami. I
Is,
got a little Miami in my blood here.
is that what they call Jay-Z? Is that El Jefe or something?
I don't know. He's
Does
a
it
New
mean
Yorker. That's so fake.
does it mean
I'm like
father?
legit. I'm like legit in it, man. Like I lived in South Florida for almost half my life now, John. Like I'm a Midwesterner, and I lived in the Midwest until I was 22, and now I'm
Yeah.
38. So basically, so I moved to Florida when I was 22. So that means I've lived in Florida for 16 years. So it's almost half my life I've been a Floridian now.
Did you meet your wife in Florida or in Missouri? That's what I've wondered.
In Florida, in grad school,
Okay.
I met her at the gym in grad school.
So she's a Florida. Is she
Yeah,
from there?
she's from Miami, so she's
Okay.
from South Florida. So she's born and raised, never lived anywhere else. Whereas me, I'm transient. I actually was born in Iowa. So fun stuff about Tim. I was born in
Yeah.
Iowa, grew up in St. Louis. I lived in Colorado for like a year after college, as I was like trying to like find a real job because I
Mhm.
graduated during like the crappy times.
Oh,
Right after the housing crisis
wasn't
and
it?
all
Yeah.
that crap. And so then I was like, screw this. And I went back to school and went to grad school at UCF. And that's how I came to Florida. So,
Okay.
story of Tim. But anyway, what we're doing, because we're entering a new phase, we're entering like the preseason ramp up type stuff, right? Like we did our top 30 prospect teams. We talked about some prospect stuff. Now, kind of like what we're going to be doing week after week is we're going to be talking each position going into draft season here. So we're starting off at third base, which like a lot of people start off a catcher and just kind of go around the horn.
Yeah.
But like we started with the worst teams and then got to the best teams.
Is that
So
the
I figure
idea?
let's start with the worst positions and then get to the best positions.
I
So
just
like
can't.
I mean,
I can't. I'm glad we're not doing because these are your ranks, and I'll do my own. I'll have my own position previews, I guess. But I don't. It's such a common thing. Like I hate doing the same thing everybody else is doing with the catcher preview, and like I'll do it because I think it needs to be done, and I'll just try to do a better job than everybody else. But yeah, I can't follow the crowd, even if it makes sense. So that's good. But yeah, this is redraft ranks where I can actually contribute because we're talking mostly about major leaguers. But keep that in mind. Um, my presence here is not an endorsement of these ranks necessarily. These are Tim's. So
no, your presence here is to fight them. I
yeah,
need some fight back and some NFBC stuff thrown up, and like that's your domain. So
yeah.
basically, what we're going to be doing every week on the Prospect Warehouse pod is we're going to be doing the redraft stuff with John. We're going to be doing dynasty stuff with Doc. So we'll have Doc's Dynasty Hour, kind of like many dynasty dingers coming back. And then we're going to have a prospect episode. We're going to bring a ringer on from the industry. So I've already got a guest lined up for this week for that. So here's your redraft stuff and you're going to see my fScores on the screen. So we're going to be showing fScores. But keep in mind, this is not a loop. This is not a workaround of buying the prospect package, because I have updated, even like right before we started recording, I'm like moving guys around on here. I'm like, okay, John, I'm moving this guy, this guy, and this guy. And he's like, okay, we'll have to wing that. Because he did make some graphics and stuff like that. So if you do buy the prospect package, you will get updates as I make updates. So you don't have to pay for each update. Like John's just going to blast out from you the different versions, because obviously if there's trades, if there's signings, stuff like that is going to change how we view certain players, because their playing time might change. So like a guy like Brett Beatty, we just talked about, like that's going to, like they just brought in Bo Bichette. Like Bo Bichette's going to be a third baseman now. So actually we have to add him in now too. So it's like, like there's weird stuff that happens that changes the rankings, like post their original, the one time you talk about them, right, John?
Yeah, it's a domino thing. Like Matt Shaw didn't do anything, but they signed Bregman, so he gets dinged for nothing he did. But like, where's he going to play? Even if you think they'll find playing time for him, which he probably will, whatever. Like the projection goes down, so you have to move him. So that's the tough part about I go through all 30 teams, like I'm almost done now. I started in October making these rankings, and then like you feel like you're done, and then every day you have to like change them, and then especially when spring happens, injuries and stuff. So but yeah, this will be fun to go through for the next 5 weeks.
Alrighty, so let's get to the rankings. We're gonna start at the top instead of starting from the bottom because we have such an open bottom. Like I ranked 92 third baseman, just to be clear.
Yeah, it's
90
just
third
crazy.
baseman on here,
Yeah.
so I go super deep. And we're not going to talk 90 something people on this podcast. We're trying to keep these like 45 minutes. So like if you really want all those rankings, then definitely you have to go buy the prospect package for $29.99. Again, pretty cheap. So go do it. But first 5 guys here is Jose Ramirez, Junior Caminero, Isaac Paredes, Austin Riley, and Manny Machado 1 through 5. So Jose Ramirez is still the king of third base, in my opinion, especially for redraft. Like dynasty stuff, like Caminero is going to be your top guy. But with Caminero moving now out of the Steinbrenner field and then going back to Tropicana, where like there's a bad batter's eye, the power is not as good. You're indoors, like you don't have as small of a stadium; it's a bigger stadium. Like I kind of expect Caminero to be worse maybe this year than last year. Like I think like talent wise, he's going to be better. Like probably his road stats will be better, but at home he's going to be worse just because the park is going to be worse. And so maybe it makes him like a neutral. Like maybe he gets the stats are not better versus last year just because of the park downgrade. So like, what are your thoughts here on Caminero here, John? And I just think that Jose Ramirez just has such a high floor. Like this is like just a dummy proof pick, more or less.
Yeah, it's automatic. Steals matter. If you're in some league where I guess points leagues, maybe there's different settings where steals don't matter that much, but on the screen is just I saw something about Jose Ramirez last night, so I just put this together. 2021 to 2025 home runs plus steals. Like that's 40% of the categories in a roto league, and they're also the 2 ones that you can most project. Like runs and RBIs, they're just as important, obviously, but team context stuff that's a little bit more random. It just makes a lot of sense, especially batting average too. Those fluctuate so much. Like it makes a lot of sense if you're going to pick 2 hitting categories, just especially early on, just like get as many home runs and steals as you can. And only Ohtani's been better at that combination than J-Ram. I mean, we don't spend time here. Everybody knows this stuff. If you unless you're brand new to fantasy baseball, which you're probably not, you probably haven't found us yet. But yeah, everybody knows. So Jose Ramirez old, but the numbers were better than ever last year. Like nothing looked like he was aging whatsoever. He is, and it'll catch up to him eventually. But no chance you can't put anybody above him. He's tier 1 all by himself. Caminero, yeah. The question is the park thing. Obviously, fair hesitancy about his big home run total last year because it came in that park, but it matters, of course. The fences matter quite a bit, and the batter's eye and stuff. It's a tough place to hit, but he has such good skills. I mean, he swings the bat, I think, literally harder than anybody else. I think his bat speed is at the top of the list, and he also makes contact. I mean, just a very rare combination of skills. So I don't think you're going to have too bad of a season, but you're not going to get more than 5 to 10 steals, and we just don't know the solidity of it. So that's an easy one too, and you have them properly ordered.
Yeah, Caminero, fScore wise, just crazy power. The hit tool might not be as good as you expect, and like it's kind of interesting. Like the contact rates are kind of average for him, so I do expect them to get better. But the EVs are pretty ridiculous.
Well,
and one thing is also is like he still hits a decent amount of ground balls, so like that might affect him when he goes into this other stadium next year. Like 47% ground ball rate. So he actually does hit a decent amount of ground balls, like more than you might expect. But yeah, the bat speed's ridiculous. Almost 78 miles per hour bat speed.
You said his contact rates are average. They're average for the average, but for how hard he swings, how much power he has, it's an incredible contact rate. Right.
Yeah. Like way better than like a Matt Olson or something like that.
Right. I did a thread about that the other day too. Maybe, I don't know. We don't have to. Let's see if I can find it real quick. He was in that like top. Yeah, here we go. Look at this here. This is a good. Things are coming up. This is bat speed against whiff rate. So how fast you're swinging the bat versus how high of a contact rate you're making. And this is the upper quadrant. This is the top right. I zoomed in here in this thread. And he's the highest bat speed, and he's above average in whiff rate as well, which you just hardly ever see. And you can see the other names that show up here. I mean, Vlad, Jordan, Gunnar, and Caminero's 22, 23, whatever it is. So I wouldn't worry at all about the contact rate doesn't have to be high at all. The fact that where it is incredible. So, I mean, if anybody's going to hit 50 homers and hit 300 this year, it's Ohtani, Judge, but then Caminero might be the third best bet for that kind of elite combo plus average combination. And like just the raw power kind of makes you worry a little bit less about the power, about the park change, right? Like maybe you're a little bit more worried about Yandy Diaz's power reduction than Caminero. It still matters. The park matters for everybody, but less so when you're hitting the ball that hard. So.
Yeah, that's a freakish outcome. So number 3, Isaac Paredes. We're going to talk about him for a minute here. Obviously, like
look at the ADP here. I mean, you really are high on
yeah,
Paredes.
I mean this will change if he doesn't end up an Astro, if like they trade him. But like for where he's at, like he's in the perfect park for what he does, and he's the youngest guy on this list. So there's like he's still like entering his peak. That's the crazy thing is he's still young. I mean, like besides Caminero, but he's still young. He's 26. Like he's still entering his peak here. So Paredes had improved contact rates last year. Good chase, only 21% chase rate, almost an 84% contact rate, 89% zone contact rate. So really good hitter with amazing angles. Like he gets to the best air pull angles in anyone in baseball. Pretty much everybody who's been playing fantasy baseball for like the last couple of years already knows this now. Like a 32.9% air pull is insane because what's average? Like 16. So he's like almost double the average air pull.
Yeah.
And in that stadium, and also a 38% sweet spot is really good too. But in that stadium where you've got the short porch in left field, that's perfect for a righty who has really good contact, really, really good angles, and that's kind of all he needs. So as long as he stays on the Astros, I just expect like really consistent quality outcomes for counting stats and for hit and for power. Like I just think he's a really solid player, but he's got to stay there. Like if they trade him to another park, this could just flip-flop completely.
I don't think he will, though, because every team knows this stuff. It's not like the Tigers are going to trade for him. Well, he was already on the Tigers, right? These teams know, okay, that's not going to work on our park. So the Astros' internal value on him is obviously way higher than maybe the Red Sox or something would make sense. And whatever, we shouldn't speculate about trades that aren't even really rumored to happen. 20 home runs and 438 plate appearances last year. So he missed a good chunk of time. Probably would have flirted with 30 homers last year. It's just look at the steals projections are 1 or 2, and nobody has a projected batting average above 250. So I get the power of the home runs and RBI production, but I don't think the steals or average are getting you into this kind of conversation.
I trust him. I mean, like, look who is right below him. Austin Riley has been hurt a lot. Like I said, third base is the worst position. So like Austin Riley's been hurt a lot lately. He's coming off 2 bad seasons back to back. Manny Machado's getting older. So like how much are you going to trust what he can do? The Padres are like, don't have money. So it's, the lineup is very top heavy. Like talk about a stars and scrubs team. It's like Padres are like literally stars and scrubs team. So I don't know. I think the counting stats and what he can do in that park is just going to be more consistent and safer than Riley and Machado. And obviously the fScores are pretty high on him. Like you can see those fScores on the screen if you're watching on XVision or on YouTube. But like it's just more consistent stuff across the board. Like obviously there's like no speed there, but the power tool is higher than Riley and Machado. The hit tool is like just as good as those 2 guys, and then the plate skills are better. So,
which is amazing because he doesn't hit the ball nearly as hard, but the fScores reward things that need to be rewarded. Shout out to us. Fly balls, pulled, park contest. I guess the fScores don't factor in park contests. The projection does. So no, I really like Riley though. I think there's an article out there today about kind of the down years from last year to buy back into. In Riley's case, like you mentioned, it was an injury related, and if he's going to get hurt, he can't do anything from the IL. But power numbers are just really, really good with him. I think he's one of the few guys with 40 home run potential with 110 RBIs if that lineup stays healthy. So he's kind of probably my favorite ADP based third baseman to pick. I'd much rather have him than Machado at 37. I think Machado's fine, very safe, kind of does the same thing every year, but I'm very much on Riley. He's my number, actually in my rankings, which aren't quite done yet. I still haven't ranked the 3 best teams, Brewers, whoever that would be. Brewers, Yankees, I haven't ranked yet, but I've got J-Ram, Caminero, Machado, Riley as my top 4. So not too far off, but I'm a big Riley guy at this price.
Yeah, I like that. It all depends on the league. I was just in a 30-team league where he's a free agent, and someone paid like $40 million on like a $200 million budget for him. So
for who?
For Austin Riley, because that's how bad third base is. There's just a major back and forth bidding him up to like 40 mil. All right, next.
Would you take J-Ram in the first round over like Carroll or Julio Rodriguez just because of the position stuff? Because that's a real question if you're in the middle of this first round. Like the obvious four probably are Judge, Ohtani, Witt, and Soto, and after that, there's like this blob. And how much does the third base position thing change your mind on that?
Yeah, I probably would. I mean, like, it depends on where you're drafting and like who you expect to come back to you in the second round, and if it's a 12 or a 15 teamer. But I actually probably would, because you can almost definitely expect, if you're looking at an outfielder or J-Ram, you can almost definitely expect one of those outfielders to come back around on you.
Yeah.
So like if you could like, if you're in a 12 teamer, you might be able to snag like Acuna or Tucker or something coming back the second, or J-Rod coming back around the second time. So I think so.
He's number 5 overall. So
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's about right to me. So coming to the next 5, I actually snuck in Bo Bichette right ahead for you. So Bo Bichette would be number 6 now that he's going to be a third baseman. Obviously, he will not have that position eligibility to start. He's never played third base before, but like, he's going to play there the whole rest of the year. So depending on what league, like whatever, your thing is, if you're NFBC or Yahoo or what, like Yahoo, it's like not an issue, right? Because the first week he's already third base eligible.
Yeah.
But like in other league formats, you might have to wait a couple weeks for that. So that kind of sucks. And, you got to do something about that and have like some backup guy. But Bichette, I would have as the number 6 guy there. Currently, he's projected to hit third for the Mets, which I don't know if that's what happens, but currently they have Lindor, Soto, Bichette, and then Polanco. I guess that's probably what will happen, unless they decide to hit like. That probably is what happens. I guess that makes sense. Like, it'd be nice to have more power in that lineup. Polanco is your cleanup hitter. It's like not ideal, I suppose. But he's going to definitely get a lot of opportunity to hit with base runners on. Like, this dude should rack up RBI with Lindor and Soto in front of him. And he's a good hitter, so he's going to hit for a good batting average. So I think he has one of the highest hit tools in all of fScores, right, John?
Yeah.
Like 124 hit. So he's definitely way up there. So I think Bichette at number 6 is pretty interesting. 7 is Sal Stewart. Then we've got Max Muncy, Munetaka Murakami, Eugenio Suarez, and Matt Shaw. We talked about pre-podcast that I'm definitely moving him down now after the latest moves of what's happened, because obviously now he might be like a super utility guy instead of a starter. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. But so Sal Stewart, definitely want to talk about Sal. I don't know. Like, a lot of people think he's going to be like first base DH, but he played third in the minors, so there's a good chance that he gets third base reps. Like, do the Reds really think Noelvi is that much better of a defender?
Ke'Bryan Hayes.
Sal Stewart. Also, Ke'Bryan Hayes. Yeah. Do you really want that bat in your lineup? Even Pittsburgh didn't want him.
But I think the defense is so good that the calculation says to do it, but I don't know. Maybe not. It's not like they. Although I don't know who's on the hook for someone's paying him a good bit. The Pirates gave him that big extension. I don't know if the Reds took all of that, but I think it'll take a while for Stewart to get your 20 games at third if it happens at all. So I'd value him as more of a first baseman, which he fits probably. I don't know. First baseman and third baseman are all kind of not a lot of steals going on. You're kind of hoping for power there, and that seems to be the profile for Stewart. Although as a younger guy, he could probably beat a lot of these dudes in steals. So, but yeah, I'd count him at first.
I'll tell you though, Fantrax and Yahoo, I think he's already third base eligible, and Otnu too. So he's already third base eligible in a bunch of different leagues, just because that's what he primarily played in the minors.
I wonder how they decide that. Is that just someone's opinion or type in at some point, or do they use a minor league formula or what?
Yeah, I think they must have a minor league formula, because that's like all he played in the minors is third base. So I think he played some second too. So I mean, it makes a lot of sense. But he might move around the diamond. But Sal Stewart has a really good hit tool, and there's good power there. So like, really good fScores for Sal. I think you're playing with it the other day with the outcome for 600 plate appearances, and that really jacked his stats up. But I think he's projected to hit 4th or 5th right now for the Reds. Good lineup, good stadium. So, I mean, he's definitely going to play every day. Like, that hit tool is probably the best hit tool in the team, honestly. Just because LA's main skills are tools, like power, speed, rather than hit. So it's nice to have like a really solid hit tool in the middle of the lineup when you've got a bunch of like toolsy guys like McLean and Ellie and stuff like that as like your primary like damage doers besides him. So
lots of uncertainty. The projections are all over on Stewart. The playing time, we found out that Oopsie last year was by far the best at projecting playing time. I don't necessarily think there's something to that. I don't know if maybe they just got lucky. I think that's kind of more likely than they have some secret recipe to project playing time. But maybe I don't know. Maybe they're just being more aggressive on these young guys. And yeah, Stewart's pretty likely to play every day. And so anyway, all that to say that Oopsie has him as by far the most valuable, 550 plate appearances, 19 homers, 7 steals. Everybody feels pretty good about his batting average except MLB DW, which you can kind of throw that out. I don't know. Some of these young guys my model has trouble with, but you're looking at 20 homers, 10 steals probably if he plays all year. Downside being that maybe he struggles against Major League pitching and hits AAA again a little bit, but I don't think you have many reservations about that.
No, not at all. I think his hit tool and plate skills are too good. Like he's just a very advanced hitter mechanically. So it's like he's got everything down that he needs to like transition smoothly, and he's already debuted. So
way more upside than the rest of these guys. So that's the trade-off you take, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, I like having Max Muncy and Murakami back to back.
How'd you get Murakami's fScores? Did you just put those in yourself or
correlate? Yeah. So I have these like Japanese correlation tables that I've built over the years, where basically what I've done is I take all the Japanese players, hitters and pitchers separately that come over, and I take what they did in Japan over their previous few seasons, and then it's correlated based on how the average of those players comes over. So basically, the correlation is I took all the Japanese hitters over the last 5 or 10 years or whatever. I can't remember how many years back I went. I took all their stats, and then I put what their first year in the majors is like, and like what it does against their Japanese stats. So I basically created a correlation table for that. And I did the same thing with pitchers. And so that's how we get Murakami's fScores here. And so obviously, like you can see his hit tools actually works than Max Muncy's based on fScores there. But the power's right there. Plate skills are pretty good, but yeah, look at those averages, like a 200 to 230 batting average, but look at those bombs, 30 bombs on all those. So you're basically getting a Max Muncy stat line there, which isn't bad. And I don't believe like they've got steals on there. I don't really see him stealing bags, but for sure, like I definitely see 30 bombs in his future because he's gonna play. Like there's no reason for him. Unless he gets hurt, like he's gonna play every day no matter what. Because the White Sox, the contract that they gave him is basically like they want him to be as valuable as possible. Because either what they're going to do if he's really, really good is they're going to sign him to a longer extension after this year, or what they'll do if he's like kind of okay and they don't really see a fit for him long term is they'll just trade him at the deadline or something like that if he's good. So like they just want to play because he only signed for 2 years. So it's like, ideally for him, they turn him for really good prospects, or else they just keep him long term because he's only 25 and they sign him to a long term deal. So
I'd rather just wait and see. I mean, the bat has him in for a 38% K rate. I put in a 33%. I did that manually. I didn't do the smarter way of looking at the history and how it translates and stuff. Although from what you told me, I think I used that it was kind of an educated guess. Steamer 29%, ATC 32%, Oopsie 34%. And that's always a risk. I mean, I suppose he's not going to go to AAA. Could he even? Do they come with options or no?
Yeah, I remember Roki actually had to go down.
Yeah.
He got hurt and stuff like
Although he was different because he was only 23. But
yeah, they've got options. I just don't see any benefit to them because like
what if he's striking out 45% of the time though and he just can't hack the velo? I don't.
Yeah, maybe. I don't really see that. I feel like he's just going to hit so many homers that it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be, it's not going to be fun. Like he's going to kill your batting average if you have.
That's what we see. Yeah, but it's Muncy. You're right. I mean, you didn't rank him by Machado. You ranked him by Muncy and Suarez, which is about the same kind of player. But I would take a lot of these guys after before Murakami, but he's not expensive. I mean, ADP 230 is probably worth a shot. I shouldn't be surprised if he hits 35 homers or something, which not a lot of guys can do. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think the floor is just so low with the questions about his strikeouts. And it's hard. Like, there's no way he comes in with a 25% K rate or anything, right? Like, there's no way that happens because he was doing 30% in Japan, and we expect that to go up.
So. I mean, I highly doubt it. But then again, like there's just a chance that he doesn't swing enough to strike out that much because Japanese guys are they're built a little bit differently than American guys. But look at the two guys sandwiching. Max Muncy and Eugenio Suarez are like, that's what you're going to get out of him, I think. But he's a younger version, and there's a little more risk. But because he's younger, like maybe there's a little more reward. Like we don't know for sure what he is. Like we know for sure what Max Muncy and Eugenio Suarez are. They do the same thing every year. You're going to get 35 bombs. You're going to get a bad batting average. You're going to get a nice amount of RBI. Muncy's probably going to spend some time on the IL like he always does. Yeah. But, it is what it is. So the next grouping of guys that I have after Suarez is Alex Bregman at 11, Michael Garcia at 12, JJ Weatherholt at 13, Jordan Westberg at 14, and Matt Chapman at 15. So that's our next little tier here. I put JJ Weatherholt in here because right now the Cardinals traded Arenado. So third base is open. It's going to be right now. Weatherholt has a really, 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 really good chance of breaking camp. It's going to be him or Nolan Gorman at third base. I think Weatherholt is a better defender than Nolan Gorman. Just naturally, he's a better athlete. So I think it makes more sense to move your better athlete to third. Nolan Gorman did play some third last year, and he was pretty bad defensively. So, I kind of expect Weatherholt might get that shot to play third. But, of course, he could also be the second baseman if in the Cardinals trade Donovan and that spot clears. But I think more likely Gorman's second and Weatherholt is third, just based on athleticism. So, Bregman is a really nice, solid value. He's kind of underrated. And this kind of happens year over year. You get the same – when he's healthy, you get the same thing. It's nothing sexy, but you're going to get 25 bombs and you're going to get a bunch of runs in RBI and a 260 to 280 batting average. So Bregman's pretty solid. I like him. Michael Garcia is interesting. This is kind of like the guy in this tier who could really jump. He's only had one really good year so far. He got the contract. I don't necessarily the Royals are bringing the fences in, so maybe boost the power a little bit more. And he gets a couple extra dingers throughout the year. But Garcia is the guy who could jump tiers here, right? He's the guy who could really jump. And there's going to be people who would rather have Michael Garcia and take the 15 homers with a better batting average and some steals than take those power guys that we just talked about.
That's me.
It all depends on your league type, right? Yeah. If you're in a batting average league, then that's probably the move. But if you're in an OPS league, then or an OBP league, then maybe it doesn't matter so much.
True. Yeah, I don't know if these other models have updated. These are refreshed as of this morning. I don't know if these models have updated the Kauffman Stadium thing. I kind of doubt it. I do my stuff immediately. I fix mine quickly, maybe a little bit too quickly. Maybe I don't do it exactly right because I just rushed to get it done. But I adjusted it to what I thought was right. So it seems like I'm the only one because I got Garcia for 17 homers, which is not far off from what you would get from Bregman. Higher batting average probably, and way, way more steals. So I'm pretty in on Garcia. I don't typically like to buy high, right? He had the career year. What did he have? He had a handful of home runs in a few years in his first couple of years. And then last year bust out for 16. So could that come back down to 10, 11? I was worried about that at first, and it's still possible, but with Kauffman moving the fences in, I think you see 3 to 5 more homers across the board for these Royals everyday players. And that's certainly what Garcia is. 5-year extension. He's going to play every day. Really just good, solid, all-around player. So my model's pretty crazy about him. I've got the high mark for 17 homers and the high mark for 31 steals. Even the least optimistic, something's going wrong with the SRV calculation there. So that's a bug. Don't ignore the SRV thing, the standard roto value. But the lowest looks like the bat, I guess, 12 homers, 27 steals. So steals are safe. Batting average can't be it's always a little bit of a risk to count on batting average because there's so much fluctuation and stuff, but the floor would seem to be pretty high. So I'm big on Garcia. I think he has both floor and ceiling if those home runs repeat. So that's I would just factor in that it's a different build if he's your third baseman because he's a leadoff hitter.
So you're going to get more runs, and you're like going to miss a lot of the RBI that some of these other third basemen
Yeah,
bring.
start with like Judge or something. If you start with Judge or with, I don't know, if you take Jordan Alvarez in the second or something like that, it makes a little bit more sense.
Yep, exactly. So you just kind of have to adjust team build a little bit if that's your guy. JJ, I expect a lot from. I think he's going to hit in the top of the lineup.
Yeah, you're biased. He's a bias.
No,
you say you won't. You say you won't be, but how can you?
I expect 15-15 with a 270, 280 batting average, and
he's not going to hit
some
280.
good counting stats.
We need a bet. We need a show bet.
JJ's awesome. He's a really good hitter. Westberg is gonna, his batting average isn't as good as you think. Like the fScores don't really like his hit tool so much. Plate skills are down compared to some of these guys. There might be more Ks than you expect, but of course it's nice to have a little bit of a power steal combo. So like Westberg's nice. He gets hurt every now and then too. But like obviously like Orioles, it's nice that they brought Alonso in, so lineup's gonna be a little bit better. They got Beavers full time this year, so lineup should be better this upcoming year. Matt Chapman next. Chapman is up and down, man. Like you just never know what you're gonna get from him. It's like sometimes you get these pop years where he's awesome, and then other times he's just kind of like 25 homers with like a 240 batting average, and you're like, okay, it's kind of like a worse version of like what you're gonna get from Suarez or Muncy. Maybe the batting average is a little bit better, maybe get a few steals mixed in there, but like you're not gonna get as much power. So it's like, would you rather have a 240 batting average with 25 bombs and 8 steals, or would you rather have a 220 batting average with 40 homers? You know what I mean? So like that's kind of the difference between him and those other power guys, I would say.
I really like Westberg. It seems like injuries have been the problem, and I don't know, maybe that'll continue to be a thing, but I kind of like to buy in on the guys that you get a discount because of the injuries, at least up until the point when they become Buxton or Alvarez, or maybe not even Alvarez. I don't know. Like younger guys, Westberg's not young. I think he's 27, something like that. Was it on here? Yeah, 26. So he's not like a 22-year-old, but he's still young enough to I think it's way too early to say he's going to get hurt every year. So if he plays a full year, I think the projections are all in the mid-20s home runs. I think there's 30 homer, 100 RBI upside if he can stay healthy. Now, no guarantee of that, but I'm pretty into that. I think he's got pretty solid across the board. Now, the steals with Westberg aren't projecting there, like 5, 6, 7, or 8. That's where the projection system are at, but he is fast. So he's got foot speed, and maybe with full health, he can use that a little bit more. Probably not the greatest bet. 110 speed score you can see. So I like Westberg a lot. I think he's my most drafted hitter so far, but it might be a little bit too much. And then you said it with Chapman, like he's fine at everything, not great at anything, and that park is a disaster. It's really hard to count on him for any particular category. I mean, he could be pretty underwhelming across the board, but reliable guy for playing time and getting balls in play and stuff. Hits the ball really hard, swings really hard. So floor is fine, but not much ceiling there. So yeah, but you can just kind of see after Bregman and Garcia, you really have questions. I don't really care for Bregman either, but I think the Wrigley Park, I think the wind stuff is overstated. People are like, I guess maybe that's a topic for another time, but these like 1 year or 2 year park factors, like I guess the wind has blown in more the last couple of years, and then people just all of a sudden start viewing Wrigley as a pitcher's park, and it's like, well, the wind that's not consistent year to year, right? Like that's a total random thing. So why can't it blow out again? I mean, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe there's meteorological stuff that I don't understand. But when you start looking at, it just drives me crazy when people are like, it was a hitter's park 2 years ago, and then it was a pitcher's park last year. It's like, well, did they change something? Did the fences move? Did they put a humidor? Like, was any environmental change?
A scoreboard. They added a scoreboard apparently.
Yeah,
and like it affected the scoreboard affected the whole wind for the whole park. Maybe
people are saying that. So that's the kind of stuff I'm gonna just get rid of that. And yeah, they talk about with Kyle Tucker. Like there was this MLB article, that Petriello guy that I kind of made fun of, and then he asked me if I read it, and I was like, yeah, I read it. I thought it was bad. Because he was just like, Tucker was really bad in Wrigley, and it's like, maybe he was just bad. You're blaming Wrigley, but who knows? It didn't have to be about the park. But I don't know. I just tend to shrug that stuff off. And but Bregman's not a 25 homer guy. He's not a 10 steal guy. So, but more safety. Him and Chapman kind of go together in that not much ceiling, but safe, while you have the upside here with Garcia and Weatherholt.
Yeah. So which of these guys, if you had to bet, one of them will in a top and as a top 5 third baseman? Which of these guys are you taking that bet on?
It's got to be Garcia, just because the steals. Steals matter so much in fantasy. It'd have to be him.
All right, and then out of the last grouping, which of those guys finishes outside of the top 15?
The 5 through 10.
Yeah, the 5 through 10.
Murakami for sure. Yeah, or actually Muncy. I don't think Muncy can play enough. That's the other thing. Muncy probably but I don't like buying Muncy, Murakami, or Suarez at all. But I think Muncy, just because I think he doesn't play enough, and I'm not a believer, not really wanting to buy on Murakami. So those are my hates.
All right. So let's move to the next grouping here. We've got Noelvi Marte. We've got our boy Okamoto. So Kazuma Okamoto now with the Toronto Blue Jays. And then we've got Matt Shaw is going to be next, dropping down to my rankings. Okay. And then Connor Norby and Brett Beatty. So we've got a bunch of different big changes here. So we have here, obviously your thing is different because that's going to show on there different players. But we've got Kaz Okamoto with Toronto. That's an interesting player. What do you expect from him, John?
I don't know. It's like this isn't my game, right? If you give me major league data and then tell me to do something with it, I can do something with it. But what you've told me is Okamoto is solid across the board, and he pulls the ball a lot in the air, and he did that a lot. Doesn't have the same strikeout contact issues as maybe Murakami does. And then it was a pretty big contract, so the big league teams believe in him more than Murakami. He's 4 years older, which actually would work in the inverse, right? I don't know. I think he's probably Matt Chapman-ish. I think he's safer than a lot of these unknowns, but probably not. Probably his ceiling might be a little bit overstated, but you might know a little bit better than me.
Yeah, I think you're kind of going to get more of a worse Alex Bregman, where I expect him to be consistent. My bet would be hits 260, 270, but does he reach 20 homers? Probably not. I don't know. So maybe you're getting 17 or 18 bombs with a 260, 270 batting average, and then you're getting no steals at all. This guy has only stolen, he steals one bag a year in NPB. That's the most you're going to get. So you're going to get no speed at all from him. And then he's supposed to hit in the Blue Jays lineup right now, 7th or something like that. So if he's hitting 7th, you're looking at 65 runs, 65 RBI, or maybe 70. Yeah. So, I mean, he's just going to be a worse version of Alex Bregman, right? He's not going to get the counting stats of a Bregman.
Projections like him for more homers than you, 22, 23. The bad X is up at 27, but that comes with a lower batting average. So I guess the projection systems you kind of had to choose. Do you think he'll make more contact or have more power? Because the lower systems on home runs are higher in batting average and vice versa. So it's an unknown though. And I don't know. I think everybody agrees that this guy's not a threat to be a top 5 guy at the position. So why take the risk? Why not just take a Bregman or a Chapman or someone that has probably similar upside, but a much more sure floor. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me hating foreigners or something like that. But give me the proven things.
I think he's gonna be good. I feel like he's a nice floor guy. That's a guy that I would pick over.
How can you say that though if he's never seen major league pitching? I don't know.
Because has a proven, he's proven in the NPB that he has a really good hit tool. That's something that we've seen. He has a plus hit tool compared to the other hitters in the league. So we know that going in here. But it's like I said, he's hitting 7th. That stuff matters. That's something that a lot of people don't think about. Is where are they going to be hitting in the lineup? That's very important. And also playing time, right? Which is where we get to with Marte and Matt Shaw and Norby. It's those guys all have a lot of skill. They were all, Shaw and Marte were top prospects. So was Beatty. Norby was kind of he was a top 100 prospect for a little bit for me. So it's all these guys were known prospects. But they all have their roster resource for Okamoto there. So Marte, you've got to worry about, okay, like, is he going to stay on the field? He's had trouble staying on the field with health or with suspensions. I mean, like, he took steroids, so it's like, how much did that help him in the minors? Like, how much do they test for steroids in the minors versus the majors? Like, had he been taking that the whole time? There's just like a lot of questions with Marte on like how good can he, like, is he actually in like real life without the steroids? Then Matt Shaw. Now we're like, okay, Matt Shaw. Obviously, Bregman's on the Cubs now. So is Shaw just going to be a super utility player? Like they say now that he's going to play in the outfield some. So he's going to play left field, I guess, a little bit. He's going to play a little third, a little second. Like, what are they going to do with Shaw here? Like, and how much playing time is he going to get? So with Shaw, like, I really like Shaw as a rebound candidate. You could see earlier in the podcast, if you're watching, you saw Shaw's like number 10 when I thought he was banked to be third base. Like, I liked him a lot as a rebound guy. Like, kind of like a Michael type. Like, he's got some speed and he's got more power than Michael. But like, now will the playing time be there? So like with this little tier here, Norby, Shaw, Beatty, Marte, without spending too much time on these guys, like, which of these guys are you buying and which are you selling?
Say who it was again. So we I don't know if the listeners lost connection, but I lost you for a little bit. Give me the 5 names again.
Noelvi Marte, Matt Shaw, Connor Norby, Brett Beatty. Out of those 4 guys, which of those guys are you actually buying for this year and which are you selling
on? Shaw, Norby, Marte. It was Shaw, Marte, Beatty, Norby. That's 4.
Yep, 4 guys.
Okay. They all. Norby doesn't have playing time concerns. Noelvi has less, but if he's really going to have to play right field, he's not. Might be terrible at it, and he swings a lot. He's unproven, kind of the stuff you mentioned. Like, he had a decent. He played pretty well. He played at like a 2020 pace last year, but it was about half a year of him actually doing that. And then you're right. Like, he has been very inconsistent. He's an aggressive hitter in the first place, which kind of goes to cold spells. And if he's just killing them in right field, then maybe he doesn't become an everyday player. And who knows? I'd imagine, I think he still would have an option or 2 left on his contract, so he could end up back in AAA too. So the only real playing time guarantee is Norby here, but he's not nearly as exciting. Shaw looked a lot better later on. I would take him over these guys if it weren't for what you mentioned with the Bregman signing kind of putting him into question. There's talk about maybe them trading Horner or something like that, which I would think if I'm the Cubs, I'm looking for any way to get Shaw in the lineup this year to see what we have, because you don't really want to waste a 23-year-old season from your top prospect. And he made significant improvements last year. He was a lot better in the second half. But Brett Beatty is probably the guy. I think there's huge power upside. I mean, he hits the ball really hard, 111 power fScore. Looked really good, especially against righties last year, and handled himself fine against lefties. So same scenario with him, though. Like, it was looking like him at third, maybe sitting every once in a while against a lefty for Vientos, but now Bichette's there, and you're like, where does he play? Now McNeil left, and they want Beatty to play the super utility, but Semien, Lindor, Bichette, those are guys that don't sit when they're healthy. So does he DH? Does he learn the outfield? I suppose they'll get him some reps, and we don't have to worry too much about it. But right now, if you just want safety, you take Norby, although the ADP is like 100 picks. he's really cheap in drafts, so you're a little bit higher on him. So anyway, answer your question. I'll take Beatty of these 4 names just because the power upside is so good, and the Mets seemingly have confidence in him.
Yeah, love it. Okay, a few more names here real quick. Royce Lewis, will he stay healthy this year?
Yeah.
You think so?
Oh, you're asking me? No,
yeah, I'm asking you. Do you think he's going to stay healthy? I've got him all the way down to 21 here. Like, I don't trust this guy's health whatsoever.
But they felt something about him because they let him start stealing bases in September. I always use the same story because I thought it was so funny. A couple of years ago, after he had the big injury, I think it was 2 years ago when he hit 2 home runs on opening day, or hit one in his first at bat and then got hurt same game and was gone. And this was the year where everybody felt real good about him, right? Like, it was that he's the next greatest thing. He's just got to stay healthy. So then in his rehab, his first rehab game, he goes and he steals second base. And the quote from the reporter was that the Twins were, quote, horrified by Royce Lewis trying to steal a base, which is so funny to me. Like, so anyway, then he just didn't. right? You didn't see that from him again, and he wasn't healthy again last year, and he hasn't even hit that well when he has been healthy. But he stole, I believe it was 9 bases in September last year. He's not the fastest guy. I'm not saying he's a 30 steals guy, but something changed. They said, okay, we feel good enough about it. Go play like normal. So they took some chains off. And maybe that, who knows, maybe that means he'll just get hurt sliding into second on a steal attempt in April or something like that. But it's pretty nice price. I think you got 2015 upside with him. I'd be more on the buy side than the sell. ADP is around 200. So that's fine. But no, you can't actually say with confidence that he'll be healthy.
All right. 10-second answers here. Jordan Lawler, over or under 400 plate appearances?
Under.
All right. Jorge Polanco, is he the most underrated and cheapest best value third baseman out of all these guys?
No, I think he sucks.
All right. Marcelo Mayer, is he the real deal or does he get buried on the Red Sox depth chart?
That's for you to answer. That's not for me.
I think that depends on if the Red Sox trade for another guy or not. I think right now he's starting.
Okay.
But I think that they like him a lot. He's a leader, and he was a first-round pick. They're going to want him to start. He's a top 5 pick. So I don't think they want to bury him, but they might on accident. So they might accidentally do it. Colt Keith, buy or sell this year?
Buy. Like him. Very safe. Good points leagues, OBP. Surprisingly decent power indicators. So I think you could see a little bit of another uptick there with a good batting average.
All right. Nolan Gorman, buying or selling?
No chance. All right.
Career over? You're done with him?
Yeah. What is that, right? You're the Cardinals guy.
I think this is going to be his make or break year. I mean, his hit tool has been pretty atrocious. He's still young enough, but if he doesn't find it this year, he's toast.
Yeah.
Next, Caleb Durbin. Is Doc's love of Caleb Durbin justified?
I bought him in the Dynasty League, so I'm hoping he's small, probably not much power upside, but he can steal more bases. He was a huge steals guy in the minors, and he didn't have all that many last year. Played really well, a lot of great contact. I think he's got enough power to hit 15 to 20 homers with, maybe 30 steals or something. So I'm excited about that. He's definitely a buy for me.
All right, is Alex Freeland the next Michael Busch, or is he the next Zach McKinstry?
Dodgers. I had to hesitate. He's the Dodgers infield prospect.
Yeah.
We talked to him. I was there, but I wouldn't try it this year.
Okay. Carlos Correa, buying or selling?
Big time. This is the biggest problem with your rank is that you've got Correa below guys like you have him below Young, McMahon, Clement, Freeland, Durbin, Gorman. I mean, I'm pretty aggressive on Correa. Just 1 year removed. 2024, he was really good per game, really high OPS, high runs created plus. Not much of a home runs or steals guy, but going back to Houston, looked really good last year. Good park, good. Maybe he's just happy to be there. So I think the price on Correa is awesome. Probably not going to get 140 games out of him, but I'm buying there. He's one of my late round targets.
All righty, last one. Diamondbacks. Nolan Arenado, is he toast, or does he have a chance for like a Pujols type thing?
No, yeah. If you're playing in like a 12-team league, you can just totally ignore him. But if you're in some 30-team league, like the things I didn't even know existed. Now I'm saying things that I would have thought were impossible last year. But if you're even in like a 15-team deep league, then yeah, I think he's basically free. Get him in the last round or something. I think he's got. I think he'll bounce back up from last year, but generally he's toast. He's not at all the same Arenado that you came to be used to up to the last few years.
Is there anyone that we didn't mention worth talking about?
I mean, Miguel Vargas can play a little bit. He's, White Sox, they might be an interesting lineup. I think he'll get in there. He had a pretty nice season last year. He's a deep league guy. Just to say on Lawler, the trade for Arenado makes you wonder where they're going to play, but I was pretty interested in him before that just because he does have power and speed, has a lot of work to do in making contact and staying in the majors. And then Rengifo has always been, he's pretty late. He's ADP 400, but he's a guy with a little bit of power, a little bit of speed. I think he's hurt. Is he hurt right now or something like that? So maybe that's the problem. But and then how about Encarnacion Strand? This guy just 3 years ago was how high did Encarnacion Strand get up in your prospect rankings and stuff? Because it's just gone totally south. And now he's not going to start out of the gate, but he still has a lot of power in the park. If he sneaks into the lineup somehow, he could have a pretty nice year. CES, right?
Yeah, I never liked him. A
No.
while ago, a long time ago, I talked to Chris Blessing, who is also a scout. Like he gets paid by a major league team, or did get paid by a major league team to scout. And he told me that that guy has like the worst swing and miss of anyone he had seen in the minors. He's like, oh yeah, that guy can't hit the broadside of a barn. He's like, that guy's like the worst prospect in baseball. And so I was like, okay, I'm out. And yeah, plate discipline is not good for CES. So I've never been a CES guy. I've always talked about how I'm not a CES guy. Thanks to Blessing, and fScores kind of back it up a bit. So that's why plate discipline matters, people. Some people ignore that and they'll just look at EVs and look at contact rates and not even look at like plate skill statistics for whatever reason. They won't look at chase. They don't look at like K rates and like swing rates and stuff like that. But you've got to look at everything. So, yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Podcast. That's it. 50 minutes. Look at that. Under an hour. And next time we'll hit 45 because we talked 5 minutes about our plan. So that's the podcast. Follow Jon at Jon PGH. Follow me at Fantasy Aceball. Make sure you subscribe to the MLB Data Warehouse. And also make sure you buy the prospect package. All super cheap stuff. All stuff that's going to help you win your leagues. Definitely worth the money. If you don't do it, you're actually kind of crazy because the value is exponential compared to the cost. Very much so. So peace out, everybody. We'll see you next time.